pradīpe nāndhakārosti yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ kim prakāśayate dīpaḥ prakāśo hi tamo-vadhaḥ.
Pradīpe nāndhakārosti yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ kim prakāśayate dīpaḥ prakāśo hi tamo-vadhaḥ. MMK chapter 7 verse 9. There is no darkness in the lamp or where it stands. What does the lamplight cause to shine? For shining light is indeed the destroyer of darkness. So it's bleak this morning. Been out preparing a hotbed to sow seeds in. So 2 barrow loads of straw, dirty straw, and 12 buckets of horse manure went into the hotbed by the greenhouse I'm preparing. And before I started, it was cold fingertips, just bleak, cold as a cold, freezing rain. But sure enough, put a few layers and waterproofs on, and after a while, sweat builds up and you're ready for a shower. And there'll be no games with sunlight this morning, that's for sure. But the fire's on behind. And the nice thing about the fire is it's wood that I laid down 18 months ago. So it's like they say about firewood, you warm yourself in the process of preparing it and carrying it, and then warm yourself in the process of burning it. And that is a kind of causing light to arise, causing energy to arise, while causing light as the fire. The flames of the fire actually produce light. So this present verse is a kind of meditation or a reflection on light. And he begins by saying, there is no darkness. Nāndhakāro sti. So asti is there is. Na asti, there is not, there is no. Nāndhakāro, so kara means making, and anda means blind. So nāndhakara literally means blind making or blind maker. And so that's a typical Sanskrit way of expressing darkness, because classical Sanskrit has so many ways of saying the same thing. An example that springs to mind is calling an elephant a two-tusker. So many words for elephants, so it lends itself to beautiful metaphors in poetry, using different words to describe one original animal. So nāndhakāra, blind maker, that means darkness. Nāndhakāro sti, so nāndhakāra, nominative singular, masculine, before asti goes to nāndhakāro sti. Nāndhakāro sti, there is no darkness. Pradīpe, locative singular of pradīpe, which means light or lamp or lantern. So there is no darkness in the lamp. And of course, well, finish off the line. Yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ, or where it stands. So yatra means wherein. Cha, and, or in this case. Cāsau means that one. Nominative singular masculine again. Pratiṣṭhitaḥ is from the verbal root star, to stay or to stand, to stay still. As in the chapter title, utpadasthiti banga. Sthiti is also from the root star, to stay still, to stand. So prastā means to stand or be stationed. So pra is somewhat emphatic. So pratiṣṭhitaḥ is where it is stood, where it is standing, where it stands. Yatra pratiṣṭhitaḥ, where cāsau it, pratiṣṭhitaḥ is stood. Pradīpe nāndhakāro yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ. There is no darkness in the lamp or where it stands. So this is Nāgārjuna's refutation of the ontological proposition that the opponent has just expressed in verse 8. So there is no darkness means there is no self-existing thing like a stone that we can call darkness. The situation that we perceive as it being dark is an empty happening. So when the opponent says, just as a lamp lights up itself and the other, his proposition is based on the existence of a lamp itself and the other, subject and object. That's the basic assumption that the person who makes ontological arguments has. Things exist. I think, therefore I am, is an ontological statement. I exist because I think. That was Descartes. It's very difficult to find any Western philosopher who isn't interested in ontology. Jean-Paul Sartre wrote a book, Being and Nothingness. He didn't consider the third possibility, which would be emptiness. Being, nothing, and emptiness. So here's the third possibility. Where emptiness prevails, there is no darkness. As an existing thing, or as the absence of the existing thing called light. There is no darkness. Nāndhakāro pradīpe, located in the lamp, or where it stands. Yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ. Okay, so I'm on safe ground if I sit on my high horse and rip the piss out of Jay Garfield, who thinks he's so damn clever, when he hasn't understood the first thing about Nāgārjuna's teaching, so long as he's sitting there at the table pontificating. He begins to understand what Nāgārjuna's about when he starts to feel pain in his legs after half an hour sitting on a zafu, and then starts to wonder what that's all about. Really, academic philosophers who don't practice zazen are not qualified at all to think they know what Nāgārjuna's talking about. So, as I sit here getting somewhat heated, thinking those idiots don't know, it's always the case of one finger's pointing at the idiot and three fingers are pointing back at the idiot who's criticising the idiot. This is what I was reflecting this morning as I shoveled horse manure in the cold rain. Because what we get next is a question. And 2 years ago, when I translated this verse, I understood it as a rhetorical question, as part of the refutation of the ontologist. The same sort of attitude as, Garfield, you do not know what you are talking about, mate. That's my kind of habitual contrarian attitude. You know, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. So it suits that kind of aspect of my character to interpret this sentence like that. It's a rhetorical question that says you don't know what you're talking about. Also, Nishijima Sensei was somewhat like that. He used to tell me he had two kinds of enemies, scholars and monks, or scholars and priests. But because he didn't belong to either group, he was very independent. He didn't go through Cāsau University and work his way up through the Soto sect by being master of a temple. He went a very independent route. And when he started translating Shobogenzo into modern Japanese, he was not accepted by either establishment, the group of scholars, academic scholars, and nor by monks of the Soto sect. He was Ippiki no Kami, a lone wolf. And so I joined forces as a sort of I don't know, another lone wolf, or you probably can't have two lone wolves, can you? An assistant to a lone wolf. But perhaps I was helped by something in me that's also got another aspect of being an explorer, or perhaps I was more helped by being caused to go against my own grain in the Alexander work. Alexander said, change involves going against the habit of a lifetime. So for 20 years Alexander work has been causing me to sort of become aware of faults in my habitual attitude that get in the way, that stop me from really going up, which is the essence of Alexander work, is really letting the head go forward and up, and you become aware of the things that stop you going up, one of which, the main one, is trying to be right. So, you see, if I sit here and say, look, this is a rhetorical question, and you, Jay Garfield, you, Siddharison Katsura, you don't know the truth, I'm telling you the truth, then I'm sitting on the high horse as the one who's right. And so 2 years ago I translated it like that, but something within me knew that there was more work for me to do. And of course it relates, as I keep coming back to this meaning of pariksha, to look deeply into it, to explore. The explorer is not the one who sits on his high horse, knowing that others are wrong. He's the one who doesn't know and goes into new, unexplored territory with a view to finding out more open. So, reflecting on that, then I realised that actually what Nāgārjuna is doing, he's not asking a lot of these questions that reply to the ontologist, the one who's interested in what is and what is not. They're not necessarily a simple rhetorical question. Like the Buddha said, it exists. That's one extreme. It does not exist. That's the other extreme. And in the middle way, you've got dependent arising. Okay, so the easy approach for me to take is to say, that's wrong and that's wrong. But in the middle, we're the ones who are right. That's sort of turning the middle into a side and taking sides, the very thing which I rail against. So the other way is to take it as an open question. Okay, so that is more in line with understanding that what we're here to do, stimulated by these verses, is to explore. So when you understand it like that, as I said yesterday, this verse takes on more of a quality of a poem that asks a question or invites reflection. So the question is, Kim prakāśayate dīpaḥ. So dīpaḥ, again, it means light or lamp, but in the previous verse, pradīpe means in the lamp, because the opponent is talking about a concrete lamp that exists there. So dīpaḥ also means lamp, but in the fourth pada we've got the word prakāśo, and that is has more a quality of brightness. As an adjective, prakāśo means shining, visible, bright, and as a noun, it means light or clarity, clearness, light. I've got a note here. Prakāśayate is causative of prakash, to become visible, to shine. So prakāśayate means illuminates in the sense of makes visible or causes to shine. Then I carried on. Sitting by candlelight at dawn while working on this chapter during a 90-day summer retreat, I couldn't help suspect that Nāgārjuna, following Ashvaghosha's example, intended a hidden meaning of this verse that would only be accessible to those who enjoyed a good relationship with sitting meditation. So, well, that's true. 2 years ago, when I came to France, early summer of 2017, it was my first chance for over 20 years to actually devote 90 days unbroken to a solitary retreat. And it was in the middle of that sitting in my zazen cabin very early in the morning by candlelight, I was memorising this verse, and I did have that reflection. Then the next footnote says, prakāśa means clearness, light. Figuratively, it means elucidation, clear explanation. Other secondary meanings include sunshine and a spot in the open air, free of all mustiness and stuffiness. So again, I think that here Nāgārjuna may have intended prakāśa to suggest just sitting. Compare Dogen's description of sitting meditation as the backward step of turning light and letting it shine. Yeah, so I was deeply impressed by this verse 2 years ago when I first came across it. I realised that, it's a precursor to Eiko Hensho no Taiho, Dogen's famous phrase in Fukan Zazengi, the backward step of turning our light and letting it shine. So the question then is, Kim prakāśayate dīpaḥ? Dīpaḥ, what does the light, so Kim is a question word, so it could mean what does the lamplight cause to shine, or it could mean does the lamplight cause shining? Does the lamplight cause shining, or does the lamp cause shining? Prakāśayate is causative of to shine. So, is it the lamplight that causes the shining? Maybe that's a better question. What is it that causes the shining? Does the lamplight cause the shining? Or what does the lamplight cause to shine? Is it the lamplight that causes the shining? Which is the better question. So maybe that's part of the invitation to reflection. A more ambiguous question would be better. What does the lamplight cause to shine? Is it the lamp that causes light to shine? Is it the lamp that causes shining? I'm going to have to think about that. But then the fourth pada, prakāśo hi tamo-vadhaḥ. So he is for, or sometimes it's emphatic, indeed, and sometimes because it's the emphasis which Nāgārjuna gives it, I translated it 2 years ago. I translated it often as in practice, but I think people will regard that as being idiosyncratic. So indeed is probably safer for me. And we've also got he in the next verse as well, where it needs to be translated indeed or in practice, one or the other. So prakāśaha, nominative singular masculine, means again clearness, light, and as an adjective, it means visible, shining. So I wanted to make a link from pradīpe, lamp, to dīpaḥ, which means lamp or light, to prakāśo, which means clearness. The dictionary gives clearness, again, or light. So, because I translated prakāśayate as cause to shine, I translated prakāśo to sort of make the link there for shining light. And also I wanted, prakāśo in Sanskrit is from the root prakāśo. And so I wanted to use an ing word if possible. So prakāśo means to become visible, to shine. To shine being a verb. And as we've met before many times, where Nāgārjuna is using a word that seems to be like a noun, like say darshana, a na, N-A, action, noun, like nirvana. You know, you can translate it as bliss or emancipation or something like a noun. But when you study how Nāgārjuna explains it, it's usually much better translated as a verb. So nirvana means going out, like a fire goes out, going out. And prakāśo, if you want to use the word ing, then it will be shining, shining light. Because I think what he means by, this is not a question, prakāśo hi tamo-vadhaḥ. He's saying that prakāśo is vadhaḥ. Vada means destroying or destroyer, or slayer, killer. And tamo is tamas. In compounds, tamas, darkness, becomes tamo. So tamo-vadhaḥ, the destroyer of darkness, or destroying of darkness. And he, again emphatic, so I've translated, for shining light is indeed the destroyer of darkness. So that's not a question, that's an emphatic statement. So in what sense does physicality, the two extremes are physicality exists, the body exists. That's a realist or substantialist assertion, and it's one extreme. And the other extreme is physicality does not exist. So if we're sitting on our high horse, we can say physicality exists is wrong. Physicality does not exist is wrong. That's astita. Existness is shashvata drishti, the eternity view. The other extreme is nastitva. It does not existness. That's ucheda drishti, the view of annihilation. So it's easy, once you've understood the teaching of the middle way intellectually, it's easy to be in the middle and say that's wrong and that's wrong. Then the question is, in what sense, when I'm shoveling horse manure or feeling very cold or feeling the opposite and ready for a shower, what is physicality? So in the middle there's a question. Just because you know that view is wrong and that view is wrong, it doesn't answer the question, what is physicality? As what's dependently arisen. What is it as an open question? What is this? What is it to sit in Zazen with something that is neither physicality existing nor physicality not existing? And then it's like in answer to that question, he's saying, shining light is indeed the destroyer of darkness. So it's like saying Zazen is indeed the ending of ignorance. It's like emphatic assertion like that. Pradīpe nāndhakāro yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ. There is no darkness in the lamp or where it shines. Prakāśayate dīpaḥ. What does the lamplight cause to shine? Is it the lamp that causes light to shine? Prakāśo tamo-vadhaḥ. For shining light is indeed the destroyer of darkness. So, in fact, when I translated this last year, 2 years ago, I had more confidence to say, I didn't say for, I didn't say he was for, I just translated emphatically. Shining light is, in practice, the destroyer of darkness. But because I was afraid it would sound too idiosyncratic to translate he, not as for, but as in practice, I sort of wimpishly went back to for and indeed. There is no darkness in the lamp or where it stands. Is it the lamplight? Is it the lamp that causes light to shine? Shining light is, in practice, the destroyer of darkness. So when I was playing with this verse last year, and I say it was in the midsummer, so I was looking at the full moon in a very clear sky. So I wrote another footnote. Vada means one, the one who kills, and two, the act of killing. Ostensibly, the philosophical point is this: the truth that light and darkness are empty of self-existence does not detract from the practical efficacy of a lamp. At the same time, I think the emphatic he, in fact, in practice, underlines that Nāgārjuna here is not only engaging an opponent in philosophical debate, he is speaking directly from his own experience in order to encourage fellow practitioners and convince us that yes, we can overcome ignorance by learning to let the light shine. If we read the fourth pada like that, the verse is one whose four-faced structure becomes apparent, and Nāgārjuna's words could be adapted equally well for other luminous objects. So here's my own little poem. There is no darkness in the moon or the space where it hangs. What does the moonlight cause to shine? The shining of light is, in practice, the destroying of darkness.
pradīpe nāndhakāro yatra cāsau pratiṣṭhitaḥ prakāśayate dīpaḥ prakāśo tamo-vadhaḥ.